It's a brand new day.
What a lovely morning.
The morning star shine.
You seem happy this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in early.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local. Live from the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get past the hit man.
And good morning, Panama City, Bay County, and Northwest Florida. It is the Coach James Hale Show on ESPN 104.3. I am Jeremy Pridgeon sitting in this morning for Coach Hale alongside with Tommy St. Amant. Saw some pictures of Coach Hale, Tommy, that looked like he was having a good time up at Graceland.
Yeah, he said he loves Elvis. I said, I thought Elvis had passed away. He said, no, he's still alive.
Still alive. Oh, goodness. Well, maybe we can, call him, wake him up here in a little bit. He and Julie out on vacation. And we're glad to be with you this morning. Looking forward to a couple of hours of talking sports and all the happenings here locally and across the country here, covering a variety of topics. Of course, we're in the spring, full swing now. High school baseball playoffs will cover a lot of the first part of our time, and we'll also talk a little bit about the college happenings. We're in the stretch run for softball and baseball as the regular seasons wind down and the tournaments will start up. So it's a fun time of year as we share this time with you. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Of course, you can always call and we'll chat with you. Number 850-215-6290. But in this first segment, we're going to open with our regular on Thursday morning, Coach Bobby Hughes of North Bay Haven Buccaneers. Bobby, how are you today?
All right, how y'all doing?
Doing well. So we had some news we were sitting on last week that broke, and didn't air that out. But we wanted to give you a call back as you have announced your retirement from coaching. So tell us a little bit about your decision making on that.
Well, first of all, I want to give the good Lord, the props on giving me the opportunity to do this as long as I have, because without him, I wouldn't be able to do this, and the Lord's been good to me. I've done it for 29 years, so, I just felt it's time to hang them up. I've been able to put a pair of baseball pants on since I was 8 years old. There's not many people that can say that. And my playing and coaching, it's been a fun ride, and I've really enjoyed it. My wife, she's been behind me all these years, and it's hard to find someone like that that'll support you. And and Jill, she's been there right there for me, and I just appreciate her. And then I had some great players over those 29 years, and I was lucky to be able to coach some good players. And you got to have good assistant coaches too. And I was lucky there. I had some quality guys that helped me, not just good baseball coaches, but quality people. And but it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I just knew it was time. I put in a lot of years and a lot of hard work. And when you get to that point in your career, it's time. You know when it's time. And I just felt like it was time.
Well, you eclipsed the 400-win club. That's rare air, and it speaks to not only just the success you had, players around you, but the program you built in different places as you coached there in Alabama and then back here in Florida. So congratulations on that milestone. It is a kind of time where you sort of reflect, and you shared about just giving thanks to be able to be around the game here. I'd be curious to hear, from not only the playing days but coaching days, what's your sense of how the game has changed, and maybe good ways and maybe some ways that have not been as beneficial?
Well, it's changed in a lot of ways with the transfer thing, and not only in high school but in college, and that plays a big effect on it. Travel ball has really changed too. You have a lot more injuries now than you had, I think, back when I first started coaching, and I think that plays an effect. There's more kids going into just one sport. They're not dual players. And I think that affects the game because I think that makes the player a little bit tougher. And I just don't see that as much as you used to see kids playing more than one sport. They're individualizing things now. But the game's the game. It's an opportunity, especially for coaches to have an effect on kids and teach them more than just baseball. And I hope that a lot of kids that I coach, they might not understand that right now. But like I got a text the other day from a kid I coached at Mariana 6-7 years ago. He said, "Coach, I didn't realize what you were trying to teach me back then, but now I understand it." And, that means more to me than wins and losses and that sort of thing.
So if you were just kind of head of Pope of baseball here for Florida high school, what would you do to kind of set some things back on course from your vantage point?
There's a lot of different things we could do, but the main thing would be, I would go look at, about the transfer thing. I would look at that very closely and see how it's affecting the game of baseball. I would look at that, and I would look at, having the fall league and the spring league. That's tough on kids, and I think that's, that sort of thing needs to be looked at also, because I think our kids need to play more than just one sport because it's going to make them a better athlete and better for the coaches that coach those sports. I just think there's too much going on in that situation where a kid can only do so much with their arm with baseball, and I think that's affecting a lot of them with their arms, especially from high school when they get into college or when they get into pro ball. They've thrown so many pitches. Something's got to be done about that situation. I know they're trying to limit pitches and all that stuff. They've done a good job with that, FHSA has. But there's got to be something they can do, where they're not throwing and pitching games all year long. I don't know how they would police that or what they would do, but something there needs to be addressed because we're having so many injuries with arms that I see more and more every year.
That's right. Just overuse. Yeah.
Overuse. But that's just one thing I see that I don't know how they would police that. That's something hard to do. I just feel like kids need to play more than one sport where they're not throwing as many balls year-round.
So it sounds like you might not be too upset if the fall ball went away and just play baseball during the spring and let them do something else,
Yeah, but I don't know if they'll ever change that, but I just feel like that's hurting a lot to do with football, and I think that's hurting, the kids with their arms. They need to get away where they're not throwing as many pitches because it is affecting kids with their arms because you see it, these guys having Tommy Johns at an early age. You see it in the pros. You see it everywhere.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think needs to change.
Hey, Bobby, this is Tommy St. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Listen, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on your career, 29 years, 400 wins. But most importantly, I'd like to thank you for all the kids that you touched, the lives that you changed. And like you said earlier, you don't realize until you get a email or a call from a player saying that how you affected their life. And I commend you on what you've done in those 29 years with those kids. But looking at another aspect, now, what are you going to do? What kind of hobbies? What are your plans?
I talked to Clan Jack the other day. He's one of the head umpires, and I'm going to get into umpiring. I know I give them heck when we play them during the season sometimes, but, there's a need there, and I think I can help with that need, the umpire, and that'll be around the game still. And also I'm still going to drive the bus for football and do things for the school that I can help because I'm going to still be there teaching elementary PE, and I'm going to do what I can do to help the schools. And, I like to fish. I like to play golf, that sort of thing. I get to spend more time with my wife. And those are some things I really like to do.
Yeah, you often heard, when you retire, you don't realize how you were able to work because all the things that you want to do. And since 8 years old and wearing that uniform, you can't get that baseball out of your blood, can you?
No, sir. I grew up around that. My Uncle Sonny was the recreation director in Mariana, and I worked for him in the summer. and that's where I started umpiring, and I started doing books, and I did a little bit of that kind of stuff for him. And then my Uncle Dale also coached in college and high school. So it's in my blood, and, you know, I've been around it all my life and just try to give back as much as I can, you know. But I learned a lot those first 4 years when I was an assistant in college and high school, because I was assistant for 4 years. And when you're young like that, 21, 22, you learn a lot. And that helped me when I started being a head coach. I think I was 24 when I started being a head coach. But, you know, there's a lot of people I could thank. I know Joe Hudson, Collision Center. A lot of people don't know him. He gave me my first opportunity when I was like, I think I was 20. I was in college, and you know, he gave my first opportunity at Catholic High School. He was like the Booster Club president. And I know he's gone. He's dead and gone. But he gave me a great opportunity, and I appreciate him giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, Bobby, you know, I really I like the idea of you going back in as umpiring, because I know when I was working, you know, getting referees and umpires is very difficult, especially in baseball, because you know that you might have a fan sitting right behind you telling how sorry you are. But I really appreciate you taking the effort to go into being an umpire, because we definitely need good umpires.
Yeah, a lot of them get back at me, some of the coaches, I guess, and some of the Bay fans, they were yelling at me the other night, so I imagine if I call one of their games, they'll really get on me. But it'll be okay.
Well, you know, a couple of things there when you mentioned going into officiating, Bobby. Number one, if I'm a pitcher in Northwest Florida, I have to feel pretty good if I see Bobby Hughes coming back to the plate, given that you were on the bump a lot of times, and you probably have a pretty liberal strike zone compared to some of these folks.
I believe having a big zone behind the plate, you know, because I was a pitcher, but, you know, a lot of umpires, they kind of, you know, they kind of not as wide, and I'm more of a wide open, you know, I might, if it's here or there, you know, you've umpired. Mom always used to tell me, you're always looking for strikes. You're not looking for balls. You're looking for strikes.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the second thing I was going to say is, if you could just let me know what game you're going to call your first one at, I'm going to pay that $8 just to stand out there on the fence.
I'm going to say, hey, somebody get that guy back there behind the fence, tell him one more word out of him, he's out of here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's a good transition. You're going to do a great job out there because you know the game. I think that's the biggest thing. You haven't played the game, and so you see, you know, kind of what's happening, even as you're there to kind of guide it and call the balls and strikes and the outs and safes. You still bring a level of insight to it. You know, Doug Lee, who we'll talk to in a little bit, kind of, you know, the same way here, umpired and coached, and so that will be a huge asset for you know, the high school, and even, you know, you may have opportunities at other ranks here, you know, moving on up. So that's exciting to see.
Well, I know they'll have to train me on certain things. I know that, so it'll be new for me, and I just appreciate them letting me come in there and teaching me, you know, a lot of things that I don't know.
Well, you're going to do a great job there. And again, congratulations to you. I know it's an exciting time. Yeah, we'll check back in with you. Maybe you'll learn more about what's going on with North Bay Haven. We're going to hit the first break here, but you have a good Thursday, okay?
All right, thank y'all for having me this year, and I appreciate everything y'all have done for our program.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you, Bobby.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right, that's Coach Bobby Hughes, who's announced his retirement at North Bay Haven, and look forward to hearing about that search going on over there with the open position. So as we head to the first break here, I want to invite you to go out and check out Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Pat Perno, Lynn Haven City Commissioner there, in family style, casual dining, burgers, tacos, wings, great food, great sports atmosphere as well. Go out and watch your favorite game and tell them Coach Hale sent you. And as the weather's getting warmer and the sun's coming out, make sure to take care of yourself and go see Dr. John Ward, a dermatology specialist, full-service physician-owned dermatology practice, 40 providers, outstanding patient care. Just a few minutes can save your life as we all seek to just survive the Northwest Florida sun that's going to be bearing down on us even more and more as the weather gets warmer, moving toward the summer. This is Jeremy Pridgeon here with Tommy St. Amant on the Coach James Hale Show. We'll be right back after the break.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Line play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. A mixture of slight fog and some clouds tonight, a calm wind, and a temperature of 67. About the same tomorrow, around 80, with a mixture of slight fog and some sun. Slightly foggy in the morning, followed by mostly sunshine Saturday and hot around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we're here to help you celebrate life's precious moments. From engagements, Mother's Day and birthdays, to anniversaries, Father's Day, and graduation. Tracy's Fine Jewelry is with you every step of the way with the perfect gift to celebrate any occasion. Celebrating every I do, Happy Mother's Day, anniversary, graduation, and Father's Day, because every occasion is perfect with a little bit of sparkle. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, putting a sparkle on Bay County for over 50 years.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
This is where heroes are created, legends are born, and dynasties forged. The Sports Talk Master, ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
And we are back on the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 on your radio dial. We're talking with Coach Bobby Hughes, and now we're going to shift to Mosley and to Coach Doug Lee, who is on location in Lake City. Tough one last night, Coach, in game one of your series. Kind of walk us through it and set the stage for what's coming today.
Well, it was a great atmosphere for our young team. Very hostile environment, packed house. Just again, great for a high school baseball game. Just a great environment to play in, and a great experience for our kids. We got off to. It was a pitcher's duel for the most part. We knew we were going to have a challenge to score runs. With their ace on the mound, we went with our number 2, Chase Woods, and he gave us a great outing. We got an unearned run, I think, in the third, got up 1-0. I think they tied it on a play, just fielder's choice in infield, thinking about the 5th, and we ended up going 8 innings, 1-1, and it was just like I said, a super game, and we we used the whole roster pretty much. I mean, it's just one of those games. The game just kind of dictated that, but it was a heartbreaking loss. Obviously, we felt like we were right where we wanted to be, and today we got to get back ready to go today, and I know that our kids will be up for the challenge and will respond and play hard as they always do.
Well, we're in kind of uncharted territory here in that in a previous format, you'd be back in Lynn Haven right now and kind of playing all the what-ifs, but the sun came up and you got another chance to get back on the field today. So what's kind of the attitude of the boys? Tough one, but you're down, but you're not out. So what's your sentiment? Kind of how are they approaching this?
No, and I think, it was a late night. So, we spent, we had Brady Lee ended up being in the emergency room till about 3 a.m. Last night. He had a pretty violent collision at play at first base. On the play they scored the run.
Right.
He made a heck of a play to keeping in front of him, but it was a violent collision, and he held on to the ball and on the bag on top of that. But that's where they scored their run. So it was just kind of a crazy play there. But so it's just been a late night for all of us. But you know what? It's like you said, the sun's coming up again this morning, and we're looking forward to a new day and what it holds. And we really feel good that Ryan Harless is going to be on the mound for us. I mean, he has been one of our go-to guys all year long. He has a very bright future. And so, you know, if we can get this one on the road, I really look forward to coming back and playing in our place Saturday.
Yeah. And you know, as far as the format goes, you mentioned that. I mean, we are in the 2 or 3 here with the first 2 over at Lake City. Now, this was just a seeding thing, right? You were the higher seed, but you had to go on the road because they were a district champion. Is that how that worked out?
Correct. Yes, sir. That is how it worked out.
Okay. So maybe
they've been higher. They've been above us all year to this last week, and we somehow ended up above them, but because we were not a district champion, they hosted.
Had to host. Well, maybe we can get that corrected where the higher seed just hosts regardless there. One of those tweaks here. One question here I was curious about, because we are talking about, you know, Bowles and Bozeman, that series split goes back to Jacksonville. Where'd your umpiring crew get sent from?
We had an umpiring crew in Tallahassee, and
they did a really stay with you the whole time here? I mean, would they come to Panama City
Yeah, they will. I asked them about that, matter of fact. So, but no, we had a really good umpiring crew last night. Did an outstanding job, and especially to get that kind of effort on the road. You know, you never know. But that had no bearing on the game, and really appreciate their hard work.
Well, we're all feeling our way through this new format, and we're going to talk a lot about it this morning here. So that's just kind of some of those little intricacies that most folks don't think about. But if they get assigned to the whole series here, they could put some miles underfoot just like y'all will. So
absolutely.
Hopefully push it to game 3 Saturday. So what time is first pitch this afternoon?
So we play at 4 o'clock Eastern, be 3 o'clock back home at y'all's time, and so. And that was, Lake City's been very gracious and accommodating us here, which is helpful for us to get back a little bit earlier. We got some students got some testing tomorrow, and so felt like it'd be best if we could move it up, play at 4, and give us a little bit better time to get home tonight.
Versus hanging out till 7 o'clock over there, and yeah, I got you. All right. Well, Tommy, got something for you here, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Dustin. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Sam, how you doing? Good to see you.
You sound tired to me.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm not kidding you, 3 a.m., that's where, we're just sitting around waiting on, of course, this is my son, so, the wife had to go to Gainesville with him. Luckily, Miss Geyser went with her and went to get him checked out and all the things. And, he's going to be questionable today right now, so we'll see. He took a pretty bad shot to the ribs, so.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, it's been a late night. But hey, I'm used to this. This is how it is this time of the year.
That's the life of a baseball coach, Doug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, listen, do you know who they're pitching today? Is it their number 2 or number 1? Do you have anybody?
Yeah, so they're number 2, the McKenzie kid, I think it is, and or it may be the. I'm losing them. I don't have everything right in front of me. I apologize.
That's okay.
They're legal hitter. But anyway, it's going to be the McKenzie or the I'm sorry, it's right off the top of my tongue. But anyway, he's the other guy. He's got 41 innings, too, so we may see him, too.
Yeah. How did y'all how was your hitting in that first game? Was it about what you expected?
Well, I think we scratched out three hits, only 3 hits, and didn't have many base runners. Their guy did a really good job, Phillips. He's obviously going to Jacksonville University. He was definitely everything we've heard about. He's a very fierce competitor, and he had 2 hits too, and he just kept us at bay. And then they got a 9th grader that came in actually that closed it. He was 92, 93 from the right side. He's about a 6'6" kid, and wow. He actually got the game-winning hit too. But again, we had our chances, and again, feel very good about our today too.
Yeah.
What's your schedule for today? Obviously, I mean, you're on the road, lounging around the hotel and late night last night. But what's kind of your plan leading up to first pitch at 3?
Well, we're letting them. We're going to let them sleep a little bit this morning. Obviously, we'll have lunch here at the hotel, and just kind of keep them off their feet and relaxed a little bit. And we'll have a team meeting before we go over there and hit and be ready to go.
I think some ways, while it's different for the high school format, this is probably not something these kids, hadn't seen in travel ball or some other area. So it's not as strange as it might have been in another time. We were talking with Bobby about, he's announced his retirement, talked about how the game has changed and all. And, 29 years ago when he got started, if you were on the road with a bunch of kids in a hotel waiting to play, it'd be kind of unusual. But now this is kind of standard fare for these guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the way the travel balls win that much, I mean, they're in hotels almost every other weekend at least, and so I think they are accustomed and used to that. And so that may be the advantage of our situation here. And it's been a great trip. Our kids have been great. We've had a good time and at all the things, and so. It's been a business-like trip, but also trying to enjoy the moment and be in the moment the whole time, too.
Well, and then, the Lake City kids, they're going through classes today. They're expending a lot more, energy other than the injury and the late night here. I have to think sort of advantage road team and then kind of an us against the world mentality going in, backs against the wall in an elimination game. So I'm liking your chances going in this afternoon, Doug.
Well, I feel that way too, and I think our kids will too. And like I said, I'm just been thrilled to death with this team. I really am. I'm gonna hate to see it come to an end, and because they just play so hard. I mean, there are a lot of teams that I've been around in my life. This group of guys, I really appreciate their effort every day.
Yeah, so you get the W and the series comes back to Panama City. What would Saturday look like for those listening here?
Well, I do feel like and I've told our team this, I feel like very good about our pitcher staff as far as the depth-wise compared to their depth. Now, it's going to depend a little bit about Brady Lee was kind of slated to be Game 3 starter now with this situation. It may be somebody else, and which, again, it's next man up is the way we look at it.
Right.
So we'll still have to kind of look at that, kind of see how that plays out here in the next few days, and, make a decision and go. And it may be a kind of a pitching by committee type deal, too, which we've done in the past, and it's been successful.
Would it be a day game or a night game, or how would that work schedule?
That has not been decided yet. I've thought about that a little bit, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just kind of
see your way through.
Well, see how Lake City feels about it. But I'm thinking it's going to be at least 6 o'clock as far as I'm thinking. And again, we'll probably have some talks with Lake City to let them, kind of get a feel for them, what's best for them too, a little bit, some degree.
Gotcha. Well, I know you're incurring some travel costs and those things, which could mount up here as the rounds go further. Anything that you could share with our listeners about how they might help cut some of these expenses for you guys? Yeah,
well, absolutely. I mean, the community's always been great for us, but if anybody wanted to feel led to help, but our Venmo is the easiest way probably to get things to us, and it's at Mosley-baseball. And so that's probably the best way. But again, we've had some folks reach out help, but this is not it's not a cheap trip for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Well, best of luck to you this afternoon. We're all pulling for the Mosley Dolphins to get the split over there in Lake City and get back home here for a decisive Game 3 against Columbia, and hope that Brady gets feeling better and gets on the mend as well, Doug.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy and Tommy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Doug.
And that
Good luck, buddy.
Coach Doug Lee with the Mosley Dolphins playing a game 2 in their best of 3 with Lake City, Columbia in Class 5A first round. This new format the FHSAA has with baseball after a heartbreaker extra inning loss by 1 last night. So we hope to see them back here on the field Saturday in that decisive game. We're going to hit our second break here, and I want to invite you to go out and check out El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill here, Thomas Drive, Panama City. Authentic Mexican food, tacos, margaritas, great dining. You've got a Front Beach Road location as well. Perfect for locals, for tourists. Will open at 11 o'clock. Another opportunity for you to go out and get a bite to eat is J. Michael's Restaurant here on Thomas Drive as well. Home with the original, a little Southern, little Creole, a lot of hospitality, serving Bay County visitors from all over the world since 1976. And as they say often, imitated, never duplicated. And tell them Coach Hale sent you. We'll be right back after the break. Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
Hi, this is Dave Meat from Panama City Beach, and I just won $250 from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida playing the Big Bracket Challenge. Thank you so much to Pepsi, Panama City, Toyota, UCB Hobby for making this happen. It was a lot of fun playing against other listeners and staff. Can't wait till next year. And go Ducks!
It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000 mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. $17.48 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000 mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all. I hope you won't judge me on one email I sent 10 years ago.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
Not after spicier food demo!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back on the ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida with Coach James Hale Show. Jeremy Pridgeon sitting in today for Coach Hale, who is off Elvis up at Graceland. Says Elvis is doing well, all things good there. And Tommy St. Amant joining me today as he's going to share with us all happening up in Tallahassee. Tough week in Tallahassee last week there. All of our hearts and thoughts and prayers with those impacted by the shooting that just so horrific. And talked to several of our students who were back home, and they had their stories they were sharing, as so many did. And that's kind of cast a pall over everything else that is happening. But I know the community has rallied in remarkable, powerful ways here. So still thinking about all of our friends over in Tallahassee going through that.
Yeah, that was a terrible day there in Tallahassee, and a lot of people responded, and it was terrible. but it could have been a lot worse due to first responders and the FSU Police Department, all of them. They just did a great job. And, yes, in baseball, we had a game Tuesday with Stetson and FSU. What was so interesting about this game, Jared wanted to do something for the school, trying to get them kind of back together. So what he did, he took 30 minutes off his pregame routine. He opened the gate up and let about 1,000 kids coming out on the field in the grass part. They all stood out there. The band was on the infield part, and they had a little 30-minute program, and the band played, and all these people was out there. And the first pitch, the guy that threw the first pitch was a trauma surgeon, I guess at Tallahassee Memorial. He made the first pitch, so it kind of brought everybody together. And he wasn't expecting a whole lot because they've only practiced on Monday. And he said it wasn't a very good practice, so he said this is probably not going to be real good. And it started out it was 4-0. I mean, they jumped up on them real quick, and they were behind. And I didn't see the last part, but they hit 3 home runs. FSU did, and ended up winning the game 11-6. But Coach Jared felt like that really kind of helped. And it was a sold-out crowd too. I mean, it was sold out. It was a kind of a good moment that the baseball team kind of helped the healing process there over in Tallahassee. But now they turn to a 3-game series with Louisville. It's coming in, and they're going to Louisville. They have a 3-game series starting Friday, April the 25th at 6 o'clock, Saturday the 26th at 2 o'clock, and Sunday the 27th at 3 o'clock. And should be a good series for FSU to go on the road to play. And as we know, they're either really hot or they kind of look cold. So. And they're 30-7 right now, and they actually moved up to number 4 in the nation.
Yeah, saw that, jumped up 3 spots there.
I don't know why, but they did.
Sitting 29-7 here. I was looking at the poll, and Clemson out of the ACC sitting there in the 2 spot. North Carolina, there as well. I mean, those 3 are kind of vying for top position.
Yeah, they're doing good. So we'll see how the pitching's, as I said, that's one of their major deals there with the team. In softball, they're 40-6 right now, and of course their Georgia Tech series got canceled, and they've had 12 days they've not played a softball game.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and they've got a 3-game series with Louisville at Louisville also. And they play Friday the 25th at 6, Saturday at 1 o'clock, and Sunday at 6 p.m. So, how that's going to develop. Of course, they've got a good hitting team. Their pitching is adequate, and they got 4, pretty good pitchers. So we'll see how that goes. But then they come back with a 3-game series with Virginia Tech. And that ends the season, and the ACC tournament starts May the 7th through the 10th up at Chestnut Hill. So that will finish out the softball, and then they'll get into the postseason. We'll see how they go with that. And one other thing real quick, I didn't realize that women's golf, they're ranked number 3, and they won their first ever ACC championship in golf, and that was up in Greensboro, North Carolina. And they start their postseason May the 5th with the NCAA. So the golf team is doing real well. They had to do some crucial putting there on the 18th hole to win that thing. So that's their first ever. So congratulations to them. And looking at football real quick, the portal closes this Friday, the 25th, and FSU still looking because they've had 8 players that's jumped ship now. Since spring ball. Mm-hmm. So in out of those five Alabama players, only 2's left. T.J. Ferguson just announced he was going into the portal. He's a offensive lineman. He was hurt, and I didn't realize this, but he had the lowest pro focus score of all the offensive linemen. Now he was hurt a lot, so I think that probably affected his. But he's going into the portal. He just announced that. Just recently. And you're finding when you go through spring ball and they see you got a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and these guys, these 8 players, they can kind of read the writing on the wall that, maybe they're going to be in there and playing as a spot player, and they're not going to start, and maybe they feel like they wasn't developed. There's a lot of reasons why they're going into the portal, and it could be they might get maybe you'll get a little bit of money from somebody. So I don't know how that will end up, but FSU is still looking. And I didn't realize that about 54% of the portal players will find another school. Only about 54%. So it's not a guarantee when you go in the portal that you're going to go and somebody's going to pick you up.
You're kind of selling your services here, but if nobody's buying.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody's buying.
That's a big risk.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, substantial risk. You're kind of free agent, but on waivers.
I know it. One other thing, Castellanos, the quarterback, he did something I think is really cool. He started a clothing line called Tally Strong, and he's doing that, and half of this money is going to go to GoFundMe that legitimate from the shooting incident with the people that's involved with that. The other 50% is going to go to the FSU Student Emergency Fund. So all of that proceeds from the sale of that clothing line is going to go to help students at FSU. So I thought that was really cool for him to do that. And speaking of the renovation, the stadium renovation is still going strong. The crews are working 24 hours. They're working around the clock.
Wow.
And they're getting to the end of that thing, putting stadium seating and all that stuff in there. It just takes time, and there's a lot of people involved with that, but it's going good. And as I said, when I went over there and talked to some of the guys, they said they'll start laying the sod down in July. So as we know, that's instant fill.
That is.
You just got to get it down there and get it set where it won't fly up. So maybe when Alabama comes, they might destroy that field. We never know.
There's going to be a lot of scrutiny on the playing surface that very first day.
Maybe they'll wear the wrong shoes.
We sure did in Tampa.
That's true. But anyway, everything is as far as what's happened in Tallahassee last week. Everything seems to be kind of settling down, and it looks like that with softball and baseball will be finishing up pretty soon, and of course football is finishing up. They still got some players they're looking at, and they're trying to looking at safety and defensive linemen and linebackers. That's their players they're looking to. Maybe get after. And I don't know this, Jeremy, but since they were down, I wonder if the portal, if they grant them some more days to.
That's an interesting question. Yeah,
I would be surprised if they filed in the field. Yeah, for the extension for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that, but it sounds reasonable. Sounds like common sense.
Well, they're on the stretch run there in Tallahassee. It's almost a tradition for Florida State to host a regional, and they're going to be hosting a baseball regional whenever the ACC tournament's done. That ACC tournament's going to be really interesting. It's a dogfight.
Yeah. Something I didn't realize. I know I've heard this before, but I forgot all about it. Mike Martin. 42 years straight, he won 40 games or more.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's unbelievable.
42 years.
Yeah. It's that's consistency that will not be seen again.
No, you're right. You're right. And a great guy, too. Mike was a super. I got to know him through coaching basketball, and he was a fine man.
We had the opportunity to go see Florida and Florida State, and you talk about two teams that their seasons have just vectored differently. Florida was right there in the running, and now they've kind of collapsed and withered and not even ranked right now, and FSU's still right there knocking on the door.
Well, it's amazing in baseball, as you know, it can turn on you in a second.
It can get away from you in a hurry.
Yeah, so you're right.
Well, that is your FSU update of things happening in Tallahassee. Again, our continued thoughts and prayers for all who've been impacted by the events over there in recent days. And it is one of those that just going to stay with them for a while, for sure. So we're going to be right back after our break. But before we go, I want to encourage you to go See Jason Kovaleski at Max Fit Sports Nutrition. Everybody's getting back out and getting into their workout routines after the winter, and Jason can help you with your needs around protein or weight loss products or pre or post workout supplements, muscle builders. Go see him, and he will help you figure out what you need to meet your goals, and also keeping you healthy and fit. Southern Orthopedic, Dr. Chad Mitchell on the sidelines of Bay County Athletics for 25 years, helping athletes get back in the game, and he can help you with any orthopedic needs. Go see Dr. Chad Mitchell, Southern Orthopedic. We'll be right back after the break, and we're going to talk a little more on the high school baseball format.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. A mixture of slight fog and some clouds tonight, a calm wind, and a temperature of 67. About the same tomorrow, around 80, with a mixture of slight fog and some sun. Slightly foggy in the morning, followed by mostly sunshine Saturday and hot around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Introducing Water Clear Pools, the home of the 10-week pool guarantee. We guarantee custom pool completion from permit to your first swim in 10 weeks or less. Water Clear Pools is the premier pool builder for the Margaritaville development on Highway 79. Free quotes and custom pools anywhere in Northwest Florida. Call now, 850-835-4177, or see our website, waterclearpool.com. Licensed and insured. License number CPC 1459723.
Introducing Southern Breeze Primary Care. With 45 years of experience, owners Holly Gay and Lisa King bring warm, friendly care, Southern charm, and a family vibe. They are the pros in youth sports, physicals, general health care, BioT hormone replacement therapy, certified DOT exams, and Coast Guard physicals. Southern Breeze, 107 West 19th Street, Suite B. 850-248-8002. Walk-ins are welcome and insurance is accepted but not required. Southern Breeze offers breezy solutions for your healthcare needs.
He's a beacon of light to many and an inspiration to all.
These men need inspiration.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
They're motivated by Vicodin and Road Skank.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back on the Coach James Hale Show. Jeremy Pridgeon, Tommy St. Amant with you this morning, and we are talking some of the most significant changes to the FHSAA baseball playoffs in recent years. FHSAA has gone to a best-of-3 format in the regional tournament. We talked to Coach Doug Lee of the Mosley Dolphins, who are over in Lake City. They dropped game one of their series. Will play at 3 o'clock this afternoon there against Columbia High School, and hope that they can get the victory and get the series back here to Panama City. But, Tommy, I went into some of the early data. Now, 7A, 6A, and are underway. They're going to play round two tonight, just like 5A is. But 4A, 3A, 2A, and 1A are all 2 games in. Mm-hmm. So I went through all the brackets here just out of curiosity. And in 4A, you've got 6 of the 16 series that are going to go to game 3. That's almost half that are going to go to that decisive game 3. In 3A, you've got 6 of the 16 series across the state going to game 3. Mm-hmm. In Class 2A, you've got 6 of the 16 series going to Game 3, including our Bozeman Bucks, who now have to go on the road to play Jacksonville Bowls, and they're going to play that game at the University of North Florida. Bowls came over here. They split the 2 games. Now they go over for the decisive Game 3, and the winner will get Bishop Snyder, who defeated Keystone Heights. And then in Class 1A, only 2 of the first 16 series that were played. But for 20 teams, they would have been eliminated in the old format. They would have been done, including our Mosley Dolphins, who dropped Game 1 last night. So I've been a proponent of this for a number of years. To me, this is baseball. Baseball's played in a series and not a single elimination format. I officiated in Alabama for a number of years where every round, including the state tournament finals, is 2 of 3. But I'm curious, you've been around athletic director, and seen this from different vantage points with travel and cost and the game. What's your initial reactions to this?
Well, we have talked about this several times. You being in umpiring and talked about how they do things in Alabama, and I personally like the idea because, one fumble of a ball the game's over. I mean, at least you got another chance playing 2 out of 3. And as I told you, they changed it, and I didn't realize they had changed it this year. But the baseball committee, they have the process that FHSA does. There's a committee for the sports, and they are assigned coaches throughout the state to be on the baseball committee. They make these recommendations. The recommendations then goes to the athletic directors committee, and if they vote against these changes, then it doesn't even make it to the board.
Done.
Yes, it's a done deal. So if they approve them, then it goes to the board for approval, and then if it's approved, then that's what they do. But the thing about the baseball coaches and baseball coaches and athletic directors are entirely different. They look at something entirely different. Their focus in the athletic director is money, travel, how much it's going to cost, how many people it's going to take to do something. And baseball, they say, well, this is the best thing for us. We like this idea of playing more games. But that's undoubtedly someone that got to the ADs, and it depends on which ADs is on the committee because they change them. And I think they serve 2-year terms. I can't remember what it is now, but once they baseball people undoubtedly did a great job of making sure that, and this to me is very reasonable. I mean, like you say, how many teams were going to be eliminated? There
have been 20 teams that would be done.
Yeah, will be done.
Yeah.
Now they got another chance. And as you said, the interesting fact is going to see which one won the first game and then lost the last 2.
That's right.
I mean, the last 2.
I think that's the data that'll be really telling, because if you won Game 1 and then you ended up winning the series, I think there's folks in Gainesville that'll go, well, we had a good format with single elimination. We got most of it. You're never going to get them all. But how many of them win 1 and then drop 2?
Yeah.
And that really shows the team that benefited from the best 2 out of 3 format.
Yeah, I'll be down there in 2 weeks. I'm going to our conference, FIAAA conference, and the commissioner will be there, and I'll have a chance to ask him if they're going to really look at the format and see if they're going to study it and try to make some additional changes.
Well, I officiated in Florida for a number of years, baseball as well, and in a number of playoff series, and that single elimination, you showed up even as the officiating crew, and you knew somebody was going to the house, and the coaches came out, and they're throwing 1s against 1s.
Yep.
I worked a series in Alabama, and we had St. Paul's out of Mobile, and we had Briarwood out of Birmingham, and we were out of Montgomery. We were based and sent down to Mobile to work the series. But A.J. McCarron, it was his senior year for St. Paul. And I forget who Briarwood had, but Briarwood had a pitcher who had committed to Mississippi State. He was their number one. So McCarran was one for St. Paul, Briarwood kid number one. And I went to the plate meeting, Tommy, and the sort of protocol is that the home team presents the lineup card first, and then you give it to the visiting team coach. Well, I got the card from the St. Paul coach, and it showed McCarran was pitching. And so I look at it, and I give it to the Briarwood coach. He's got 2 cards in his hand. And he gets the card, and he looks and sees that McCarran is throwing. And so he hands me the card that's starting his number 3. And as soon as I got the card and saw who he was throwing, I said, well, we're going to game 3 because they had offset their aces to make sure they didn't put them head to head.
Right.
And we did. We went to game 3 on Saturday and finished up the series. But that's even a coaching move.
Yeah,
and we talked to Doug a little bit. Yeah. Doug did not throw Harless last night. Yeah. He has him available today, but Lake City threw their ace last night. So they may force a decisive game and get back over here to Panama City. And that's just another little quirk around the best of 3 format. I know there will be some talking about travel and schedules, but how many baseball teams are already at the house?
Yeah.
I mean, many teams were eliminated in the district tournament, and they're already, looking at football. So, and then half the teams are hosting.
Yep.
So they're not on the road. The piece that may be interesting to watch is when you've got, say, Jacksonville Bowles, who was in town here, and now the whole thing is shifted to Jacksonville for one game. That may be the part of this that gets looked at a little more closely, because if you come over here and the Alabama format, they play 2 out of 3. One team's designated home in game 1. The other team is home in game 2, and then it flips back to the host side in game 3. But you're just overnight one night. You play a doubleheader one day, and then the single on Saturday if need be. But I'm glad Florida's doing this. There may be some wrinkles that they have to iron out if they're going to go down this road.
If they didn't change venues for that third game, I guess they would have to play it pretty quick, because you wouldn't want them sitting around here for 2 or 3 days in a hotel.
Right.
So it'd have to be pretty quick. And, you think about common sense would say, why not just finish it at one venue, not take everything up, get officials, head 2.5 hours over there to Jacksonville to play another.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 200-mile trip to Lake City. For Mosley, already a long trip, and that's still one of the shorter ones. Now, we're up here in North Florida, and Region 1 is so much larger. You've got Pensacola, down almost to Orlando in some cases, where you can see some very long travel. And I know down in the southern part of the state, it's not nearly that.
No, hey, when we have we used to have our meeting, those coaches, AD said, gosh, we had to travel 30 miles to play this game. I said, well, we had to travel 300 miles to play. So it's a big difference, and they laugh all the time about that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's such close proximity to the schools, they don't have to travel that much. Not like it up here.
Not like you see here. And I do like that we're, kind of in the region and not just, your neighboring districts here. So I do like the format that kind of cross-pollinates some of this. I wish they would do it in the rural division. You've got some district championship rematches in the regional first round here, and I think you could cross that up. They start talking about the rural classes. I'll actually start next week. Holmes County and Chipley will play. I mean, they're rivals. They've played each other. Cottondale will play Bluntstown. St. Joe and Franklin, who are the same district again, will play again. And I think you could take easily and shift that up and let them play across the region.
I think I like that idea a lot better.
I'd rather
you play somebody 4 or 5 times. I mean, that's like, man.
Yeah, and you could do even that whole area. Go ahead and let Bradford and Trenton and some of those places come up and play Bluntstown or Chipley and be okay doing that. But it's an exciting. If you like softball, the districts are going to start next week. They're still staying with the single elimination format for girls softball, but big changes for the FHSAA with the baseball playoff format, and I'm excited. I can anticipate it's going to be tweaked a little bit, but we'll hope that Bozeman can get the W in advance, and that Mosley can bring that series back over this way. So we're going to hit the top of the hour here, but I'm going to kick it over to Wildcat, and if you've got any jewelry needs, he can tell you where to go.
If Mother's Day is just around the corner. That's something you need to start thinking about. And of course, a lot of people come to these beautiful beaches down here and they get married. So if you're thinking about getting engaged, you want that one-of-a-kind ring for that one-of-a-kind woman, and you can get it designed and on her finger within 10 days at David Adamson Designer Jewelry on Highway 77. And take your jewelry there now, have it appraised, and get it cleaned for free. That's David Adamson Designer Jewelry, Highway 77 in Lynn Haven.
And we will be back at the break now for the first hour. We'll return with the Alabama update on ESPN 104.3. Northwest Florida, the Coach James Hale Show.
Atlanta Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straightaway center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. A mixture of slight fog and some clouds tonight, a calm wind, and a temperature of 67. About the same tomorrow, around 80, with a mixture of slight fog and some sun. Slightly foggy in the morning, followed by mostly sunshine Saturday and hot around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's David Hayes with a message that could save you thousands. Jed Lawyers never charges you up front. You heard me. You pay absolutely nothing unless they win your case. No gimmicks, no surprise bills, just real legal help after a car crash or injury. They're right in downtown Panama City on McKenzie Avenue, fighting hard for people just like you. Call 850-852-0000 or head to jedwins.com to get started.
Powered by Panama City Toyota. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
When you bring your vehicle to Panama City Toyota for repairs or maintenance, you'll get the warmest welcome around.
That's because we see service differently.
It's not only an expert team that can help with everything, from simple adjustments to a new set of tires. It's also a team that values your time, so we make your experience as quick and comfortable as possible. Because we're committed to service that goes beyond. Only at Panama City Toyota.
Put down your natural light. It's time for the Alabama Update. The Alabama Update, weekday mornings at 8. On the Coach James Hale Show at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, roll tide. It is your Alabama Update brought to you by Steverson Air Conditioning. Things are getting warmer across the Panhandle, and they are here for your HVAC needs, based out of Lynn Haven since 2005. Locally owned and operated, top contractor here across Panama City, Bay County. Make sure your units are ready to go, as you can be drawing on that air conditioning pretty strong here in the upcoming weeks. We've had no rain, for days now, and no rain in sight. You see these retention ponds around.
So like next Thursday, of 30%. That's awful.
Nothing. It's been pleasant, but it's getting warmer, but it is dry. We've had those wildfires out, and that's caused some havoc.
Except for the fog in the morning.
Fog is rolling in here.
When I come into work,
you can see it too.
It is
I'm going fishing in a couple of weeks. Believe me, it'll rain.
Yeah.
You'll get the rain. Believe me.
You can't go any sooner than that, Tommy. We could use rain now.
Get your trip out a little sooner there. So
what's all this talk about Melrose? For crying out loud.
Jalen, man. I'll tell you what, we were talking about that with the whole locker room would have met the transfer portal, it seems like. And, that gives you a glimpse of kind of the sentiment of the room and what, we've all been in locker rooms. We've all played. You kind of know the intensity of that. And in this environment, far greater where, millions of dollars are on the line and potential life-changing opportunities. And there was a disgust that was, emerging around Milroe for his inconsistent play. It was evident even to just the most basic of fans that he wants to be this drop back pocket passer, and that is actually not his strength.
Well, they were saying, I forget where it was that I heard this, that they know he can throw it hard and fast.
That's right.
But they don't know what direction it's going to go.
It got a fastball that is inconsistent. Yeah. That's exactly right.
When you think about a receiver, he works his butt off, get out there and get open, wide open. The ball's overthrown. I mean, you can just see the frustration.
You fall off a line block and you get open, and he's seeing 6 points and then watches 6 yards over his head. So it does seem that the NFL's kind of got jury's still out. He's a freak as far as his speed and his athleticism. But you're going to have to put him in a program that, in a set that draws on that piece, and he's not going to be a conventional drop back passer. And the game that I remember, it showing up was against Texas in Tuscaloosa. He stayed in the pocket and just missed throw after throw after throw that night. And when the Longhorns came back on the return trip there.
You think under some good coaching that he could be refined to
Possibly.
where he is accurate?
Possibly.
So is that something he needs to look at, or do you think he even gets it?
It's interesting because you've got the same name. I mean, Jalen Hurts has been kind of retooled, and is Jalen Milroe here. Jalen Milroe tried to sort of pattern himself like Jalen Hurts. I don't know that we ever saw that in its fullness, but if he's going to go to the next level, he's going to have to go through some of what Hurts has experienced there with the Eagles, and so there's a possibility. But what franchise is going to take the risk and make that investment?
Yeah, that's $1 million.
Yes,
with an S, with a big S.
He's got the talent. He's definitely going to get drafted. But like I say, it's going to take a team that's willing to take him and to experiment with him, put him at tight end or a linebacker or something, because he's got the ability. He definitely has the ability.
Absolutely has the ability here. So stay tuned for that one, and I'm glad that all the skill people did not hit the portal.
I wish they had.
I know. Oh, well, things happening in Tuscaloosa. Alabama baseball, 32-10, now 9-9 in the very competitive, very tough Southeastern Conference. They had a weekend on the Bayou, lost 2 of 3 to the Tigers. Going to Alex Box is always a challenge. Yeah. That is a very rabid fan base in all sports, but particularly baseball. And on Friday, they dropped the opener 11-6. On Saturday, dropped the game 2 4-3. Salvaged one game in the series with a 7-4 victory on Sunday to get out of there, getting 1 of 3. They are on a 2-game winning streak. They played the Sanford Bulldogs in the midweek and picked up an 11-7 win over the Bulldogs from Birmingham. Alabama returns to Tuscaloosa to play at the Joe this weekend. They actually start their series with Missouri tonight. And so the SEC has it kind of mandated where you're going to have this Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. They do that Easter weekend anyway. But then for SEC network purposes, they'll hold baseball and softball in some cases to either start on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or they'll start it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, particularly on the ladies' side, just to give some additional coverage of the network. So they pick up their Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against the Tigers, who come visiting from Columbia. On the ladies' side in softball, they are sitting 32-18 now. 8-10, kind of an uncharacteristic season for Patrick Murphy and his softball team. They dropped 2 of 3 this past weekend to the Florida Gators down in Gainesville. The Lady Gators took game 1, 7-4, took game 2, 12-4. Alabama won game 1, 7-4, and then they dropped the next 2, 12-4 and 4-3. They did return back to Alabama, played Alabama State in Montgomery on Tuesday night. Opportunity for Alabama fans there in Montgomery to see the ladies play, and they beat the Hornets 7-0. And just like the men, Missouri comes calling. They'll play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in a 3-game set there in Tuscaloosa. So spring sports are drawing to a close. Alabama's regional hosting streak in softball, I think, is going to be on the line. I don't know that we'll see Alabama get to host. Hopefully they can crack the door, play well in the tournament. They've been kind of a mainstay, like we talked about Florida State, always hosting the regional and men's baseball. And then on the men's side, they're kind of on the outside looking in. I think they'll host a 16-team regional, but in that 9 through 16 bracket, where if they did advance, they'd have to go on the road in the supers. So we'll see. You know, if you look at the baseball poll, I had it up earlier. Kind of interesting to see this. You can kind of pick those seeds. So if it were today, you'd have, Texas, and just say these teams, if you took the top 16, you'd have Texas and Arizona, in a super, Clemson and UCLA, Oregon State hosting Oklahoma, Florida State would host Oregon, Arkansas would host UC Irvine out of the Big West, Tennessee and Auburn would get an intra-conference series, LSU and Georgia, and then North Carolina, Vanderbilt. So Alabama, it's looking to kind of crack the door there. Something's going to have to happen in the tournament, perhaps, to get them to be a host site. So interesting times for Alabama baseball. Much improved, though, from what we have seen over previous years, and you've got to be pleased with the effort as we've been kind of in that mid-tier of the Southeastern Conference for baseball for a number of years, even though there's been considerable investment in trying to improve things in the program. ESPN has 5 SEC teams making the playoffs in their early prediction, and they have Alabama football winning the SEC. I'm not sure I'm buying this just yet. A lot of question marks, but Bill Connolly has put his calculations in on the 12-team playoffs and has Alabama as the number 2 seed as a result of winning the SEC. We'll get into some of this as well. We've got the schedule that has been released for the college football playoff, and we'll break down what Connolly says later on in the show as to who he thinks may be those top 4 seeds, and then the rest of the bracket as we turn our sights toward this fall. But this has been your Alabama update. Steverson Air Conditioning, again, is the sponsor of the Alabama update each and every Thursday. They are here to help you with your HVAC needs, as they've been in the area since 2005, locally owned, operated. They can help you with residential. They can help you with commercial, help you with repairs. If you want to renovate an existing space, or you're doing something in a new home, Steverson can help you get the result results that you need. We are here with the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN 104.3. Jeremy Pridgeon and Tommy Sainamont in for you as Coach Hale's out. We'll be right back after this break, and we'll talk a little bit about what's happening there on the Plains in Auburn.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. A mixture of slight fog and some clouds tonight, a calm wind and a temperature of 67. About the same tomorrow, around 80 with a mixture of slight fog and some sun. Slightly foggy in the morning followed by mostly sunshine Saturday and hot around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
He's a 10-foot-tall, barrel-chested beast man who showers in vodka and feeds his baby shrimp scampi.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Please welcome.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Live and local from the J. Michaels studio, the Coach James Hale Show, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back with ESPN 104.3, the Coach James Hale Show. This is your Auburn update as we take a look at what's happening up on the Plains. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Here's Coach Hale is out, Jeremy Pridgeon, him with Tommy Sainamont, and thank you for listening. Always, we want to invite you to call in 850-215-6290. If you have something you want to share with us on the airwaves, we'd love to catch up with you, and we thank all of our faithful listeners across Panama City, Bay County, and Northwest Florida. So, as we look at things happening in the Plains, on the Plains there in the spring season, baseball, 28-13 right now, 9-9 in the very brutal Southeastern Conference there for the Tigers, and they are getting ready to host the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who will roll in for a 3-game set. That first game will be at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Auburn has done quite well in the friendly confines there at Plainsman Park. They are 19-5 this year at home, 4-8 on the road, 5-0 in neutral site games. But Plainsman Park is really just one of these sort of neat places to watch college baseball. I don't know if you've had a chance to see a game up there, Tommy, but there is a great atmosphere. It's it's beautiful venue and great tailgating, but the Auburn fans make it a pretty pretty hostile environment for the visiting team to come in, and it shows there in the success that the Tigers have had. They're doing quite well, and it should be a big one this weekend with the Bulldogs coming in. Mississippi State has not been the typical Mississippi State that we're accustomed to. That's a very proud program, and I know they're glad to have them at home. The Saturday game will be at 6 o'clock. And then the series will end at 2. So on the ladies' side in softball, the Auburn ladies are 28-20 on the year. They're getting ready to host South Carolina at Jane Moore Field. That will be a 5 o'clock first pitch tomorrow. They are struggling this year in the conference at 4 and 17. SEC softball, pretty tough all the way around, but big weekend there if you want to go out and watch baseball, watch softball in Auburn, both teams in town for the weekend. We were talking a little bit during the break about Auburn football, and Auburn landed a commitment transfer from Tulane, cornerback Rayshawn Pleasant. He has announced his commitment. He had also visited USC after entering the portal, but Auburn got him. He has 2 years of eligibility, and I thought this was interesting as to why he selected Auburn. He says just because of the opportunity they have, the winning, it's the opportunity to play in the SEC, being in a great city, great college town, great college coaches who care about you more than football. So, you're hearing a little bit about the culture that he experienced. And, college football has always been kind of this game of the Bergs and the Vills. Pro football has been kind of, your major metropolitan areas. Now, NIL, of course, the money's in the bigger cities. It's interesting to me that, USC, Los Angeles, but really an also ran among many. I mean, if you're looking at Los Angeles and the sports market, how many options do you have? We've all been talking about what happened with Tennessee there and their quarterback, and you're going to play in front of 100,000 rabid fans at Neyland Stadium, or you're going to play in front of 10,000 at the Rose Bowl. Because that's where UCLA plays their home games. Well, one of those is not like the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, for all that is being said, this is kind of a breath of fresh air that it's just not going for the money, but still about the experience that you can find, particularly here in the football craze deep South.
Well, college football is not college football anymore, as far as I'm concerned. With all this money. You got teams. You're looking at with the revenue sharing that's coming up this coming year, $20.5 million they can give out to players. And so you're looking at probably some schools just giving out $40 million for the kids to play. $40 million. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy to me. Well, absolutely crazy.
And all the season ticket holders are going to get to share in that joy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just like the talent fee that the University of Tennessee added to their tickets, a 10% talent fee. I think that will just be passed along in addition to your contribution.
Yeah.
In addition to purchasing the tickets.
And that, a lot of schools, when you buy tickets, you got to donate to the Booster Club, and like you say, the Booster Club's going to add something like a talent fee, like you're talking about. They're going to have to, because FSU. If FSU could, I don't know if they will ever win a national championship again. They don't have the money that some of the big schools have to get the talent. I mean, I know you got to have good coaches, but if you don't have good players, you're not going to have good coaches around. But to me, it's amazing that the money that's being spread out now in college football, it's absolutely insane that some of these players can go to college and retire. Because they made their money. They don't even have to go to the pro.
If they handle their affairs well, they've made generational money playing football
at college.
And you don't hear the term student athlete anymore.
No.
I mean,
No.
it is non-existent.
Well, everybody complained about the poor kids. They're not getting any money. The school's making all the money. The only thing they forgot, they didn't put a limit on how much they can get. And now it's just gotten out of hand. It's way out of hand.
Yeah, it really has. And he's talking about players would come through college, and then they would those that had the opportunity to go on and go into the pros. And you do have college kids making more than even professional athletes. But we are looking at a few Auburn Tigers that have some draft potential. Jarquez Hunter, Keandre Lambert-Smith seem to be trending well. Auburn has had 300 former players drafted into the NFL from the program. That's pretty remarkable. And if they get the 7 prospects that are on the list, that would be a program record. Which is rather telling to me, Tommy, because it speaks to the talent being there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you've got 7 that are NFL bound in the draft, Auburn did not turn in the season they wanted to turn in necessarily. And yeah, we had the coaching change and all the things that happened there, and the margins are razor thin in the ultra competitive SEC. But you and I were talking between the break with the portal. And these kids coming into programs, we just mentioned the corner coming in from Tulane. How quickly can these players learn systems to be able to adapt and adjust, particularly around the complexities that some of these DCs would want to run and operate in a given day?
When these portal kids come in for a visit to the school and they meet with the coaches have to do a great job vetting those kids, because they need to find out what they can handle, how much can they handle. If you don't believe it, ask FSU about how to do that last year. They did a terrible job with that, and they got some players, and not only not knowing the system, but that they had their own personal beliefs, and it kind of messed up everything else. But you're right. It's such a tough job for coaches now. Gosh, I mean, all that they come in, they come in and say, well, 2 questions: how much money am I going to make, and how quick am I going to pay? That's what they hear mostly. That's what they hear.
Yeah, some of the schemes that Saban ran when he was, at Alabama, and other great defensive minds. You got to be in those systems to begin to understand. And even your calls and how you call them can change. But if we're just moving kids around season to season, you're not going to see anything really other than what they perhaps learned along the way in high school. If you're going to play a base 3, you're going to play a base 4, or and any of these stunts or any of these kind of higher level aspects of the game, I think are going to disappear at the college level.
Yeah. And I think right now one of the valuable assets any football team can have is some kids that's been with the program 3 and 4 years, because they know the system, and they can help coach the other kids up. Because like I say, as a portal kid come in for 1 year, how does that affect the offense and defense? How they going to dumb it down? They're going to, in some cases, they can't play what they really want to do.
Right.
So it's just crazy the way it's going now.
I think it's advantage offense.
Yes.
Really to kind of look at the game itself. That the offensive schemes can be picked up more quickly than the defensive.
You
side
take
of the
that ball, run right over here on the right side, and you run fast.
That's right.
You break tackles.
I mean, I'm bringing Jordan along, and he likes to play football, and he likes to play baseball here, and I'm having to explain to him there's a lot more intricacies around baseball. Well, offense and defense kind of the same thing. Getting in position to stop somebody is harder because you don't know where they're going. You're trying to get to where you think they're going. But if you've got the ball, you know where you're intending to go. It's a completely different concept here. So just one of those kind of quirks that we're living into as the game has shifted on so many ways. But there are other Auburn Tigers that are in consideration for the draft board. I mentioned Lambert-Smith and Hunter. Also trending, Eugene Asante. He was ESPN number 174, best available on NFL 186. Jalen McLeod as well, defensive lineman. trending 216. Rivaldo Fairweather down the line a little bit further, 341. Peyton Thorne and Philip Liddy are also in the 300s. So those two are listing as potential undrafted free agents. Mm-hmm. However, if you've got that caliber talent, it does speak to the program having, I think, the basis that it needs to be competitive. And you were asking about Freeze being, on the hot seat here. I do think there's an expectation at Auburn, whether you've kind of grounded in reality or not, they expect to be competing for titles and championships. And so it may get warm in Auburn pretty quickly here.
It amazes me that some of these players in college that has talent, they don't really ever produce that much, and they get in pros and they do really well, and vice versa. You got some great college players that go in the pros and they're just a bust. They don't, and I mean, injuries to me is a big deal in football. I mean, if you play football long enough, you are going to get hurt. It's 100% chance you're going to get hurt. That's pretty bad odds you're working against.
Comes with the territory there.
Yeah, so. I know.
Well, that is your Auburn update here on the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN 104.3. Good luck to all the Tigers that will be on the draft board here as they look to further their playing careers. As we head to the break, want to invite you to check out the Local 115, Kyle Vandergriff family, just great people here in our community. And in downtown Panama City, historic downtown Panama City, you can gather there at the Local 115 for local drink, local sports, local food. They've got the mural of Bay County from the 1950s. They are restoring other local artists on display there. Sports themed, great atmosphere. I've enjoyed the meals there. Tommy, been there with you even. So
yep, that's true.
Good food.
I tried to go Monday, but they were closed for Easter.
Closed for Easter, there, Easter Monday. And then if you have roofing contracting needs, check out TK Vandy Roofing and Contracting, general contracting, design, build, commercial, residential, all of your roofing and construction contracting needs. Every detail meticulously crafted to the highest standards of durability. You will be well pleased. Certainly grateful for the Vandergriffs. We're going to head to the break here at the bottom of the hour on the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
I follow a lot of soccer and basketball on Instagram, and you have some of these NBA players that are like, whoa, man, the Europeans, they're working on fundamentals at a young age where we're just going to tournaments and playing these games. They're really learning the game inside out before they start.
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Everyone in the area knows that when it comes to portable buildings, Bestway Portable Buildings is the best in portable, period. And now they offer screen enclosures too to help keep those vicious yellow flies, mosquitoes, and no-see-ums away. Need a pole barn? Bestway can do the job. See Bestway Portable Buildings just north of the old mall on Highway 231. Online at BestwayPortableBuildings.com. Bestway Portable Buildings, the best in portable, period. And a golden age business.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. $1,748 per month per 1,000 financed in 60 months. Quantities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
He doesn't try on clothes at the department stores. He just rips stuff off the hanger and lives with the consequences for years.
It's classy, it's intriguing.
He's sexy, sassy, and full of spunk.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back on the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida. Jeremy Pridgeon in for Coach Hale alongside with Tommy St. Amant. And we've got a caller that is going to join us here. Who we got on the line today?
This is Mike Whitworth, Mike QB with news out of Tennessee.
Breaking news out of Tennessee. Tell us what's going on.
It involves Auburn graduate Governor Bill Lee. By the way, has Alabama or Florida ever had a Tennessee graduate as their governor? No. Anyway, he has pardoned Jelly Roll for a home invasion robbery from 2002.
Jelly Roll has been pardoned. I actually saw that was approved by the pardons, clemency folks there and sent on to the governor for his decision to be made. So that decision has been finalized.
It has been made, and I want to tell you something. We've got a great history in Tennessee about pardons and paroles. Governor Blanton used to sell them. God rest his soul. And we brought in Nevin Trammell Sr. to take care of it after, to clean it up. And he was a great Vandy man. I think his brother might have, I don't know, cousin, brother or something may have played at Alabama. I don't know. I'm making that up. So, anyway, here's the thing. It's just a great time in America when Tennessee's got a governor who's a graduate of Auburn. Alabama's got a governor who's a graduate of Auburn. And Florida's got a governor who's a graduate of Yale. What happened? Anyway, I want to say something about Kentucky's governor since John's there.
Hey, watch it.
Okay. Yeah, you may or may not agree with this. Next week, it's Kentucky Derby week. I'm getting ahead of the story maybe. But that is the 1 week out of the year where Governor Beshears, Vandy graduate, Virginia Law, what do you think he turned into? Anyway, that's the 1 week out of the year where he talks like he's a Republican or a conservative. And he will be running for president in a couple of years.
You're right.
But he fakes it during Derby week. It's because he's full of Woodford Reserve or whatever. Anyway, y'all keep on loving everybody down
I got
south.
a question for you, Mike. What's your thoughts on the QB situation in Knoxville?
Well, I don't like how they're spending money. I mean, the dude played against Georgia Southern, the guy they just signed out of UCLA, Aguilar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he last played against Georgia Southern, and his coach got fired after that game. So what do you think I feel about that? I thought they had a pretty good – they had Merkinger there from Savannah, Georgia, not Tennessee. And, of course, we had a great quarterback back in the 60s from there named Dewey the Swamp Rat Warren, one of my favorite Georgia quarterbacks, but he played at Tennessee. And then we got George McIntyre II, who apparently cannot gain weight even he eats a steak milkshake. He's 6'6", 180.
6'180.
He has a great arm, but we're worried about his durability. And then next year we're getting the number one prospect in the country from Greensboro. So we're not too worried. Of course, it's it's an odd year. Odd number. That means we have to lose at Gainesville and at Tuscaloosa. And, of course, we've had trouble beating Georgia lately, as you might well know. So we're going to go about 8-4. And then we're going to beat Michigan in a bowl game on New Year's Day and just show Alabama that they can be beaten. Y'all have a great day. Go FSU.
All right.
Baseball.
Bye. Well, you got Mike with the latest happening out of the Volunteer State. So, good for Jelly Roll there with that pardon happening by Governor Bill Lee. And, interesting times in Knoxville for sure as to the QB situation and what will transpire there. But we were talking a little bit about ESPN's early prediction of the playoff field, and we may have to carry this into the last part. But the bracket that Connolly put out has Tennessee as the number 9 team, but I suspect that does not take into effect all that has occurred there in Knoxville. And I think the 8-4 might be a little closer to reality with road trips to Gainesville, road trips to Tuscaloosa, and just the rest of the gauntlet for the SEC. So we'll see how that plays out. It's glad that he called in. And if you want to call in as well, number 850-215-6290, and we gladly take your call and talk things sports here. But I had mentioned earlier, Bill Connolly has Alabama as the number 2 seed in his 12-team playoff bracket, and has that placing there as a result of Alabama winning the SEC. Now, obviously, these models are not definitive, but he has 5 SEC teams making the playoffs. So don't know if Greg Sankey's sponsoring this or not. But these are the 5 he has. The other 4 are Georgia, that he has seeded number 6, Texas, seeded number 9, Tennessee seeded number 10, and Ole Miss seeded number 11. His top 4 seeds, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and Kansas State as the Big 12 winner. He has the number 12 seed as Boise State as the highest ranked group of 5 champion. So that's interesting to me. Any surprises based on just that one prediction?
Kansas State,
I think, is a surprise to me. The other one,
Boise, they both kind of threw me off.
Yeah, Boise in there.
I was going Boise, and then you said Kansas State, and I was like, well, wait a minute.
And they are automatic qualifiers, so you do have to give each conference those, and that's going to be one of the things under scrutiny when this format is revisited. But I don't think that there's going to be anyone in Baton Rouge sending any well wishes to Bill Connolly here.
LSU's supposed to have a good team.
That's what
they're saying. I don't see LSU on here anywhere.
No LSU anywhere. And you've got 2 other SEC teams that are Ole Miss and Tennessee.
I think you could replace Ole Miss with LSU very easily.
That's the one here that I think is questionable, and I think even Tennessee, going back to Mike's call, is very questionable as to whether to make a return appearance there in the playoff. So other predictions out there, but Tommy, you do have the schedule for what the playoffs are going to look like for us now. So kind of walk us through.
Well, the first round games, they'll all be played the highest ranking team, home games. And then when you go to the quarterfinals, the Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl will host these sites for the quarterfinals. And then you go to the semifinals. The winner of those will be, it goes to the Fiesta Bowl and Peach Bowl on 2 separate days. And the Peach Bowl, I assume that'll be Atlanta. I would assume.
Yep.
I didn't have the dates, but and then of course the January the 19th is a championship game down at Hard Rock, and that's in Miami.
So go back to Miami for the championship game here. So the 31st kicks off there, and that's the Cotton again. Is that the first one? And then the Rose, I think the Rose Bowl is very content to stay in that New Year's Day 4:00 slot as a semifinal. That I've been there for the Rose Bowl game, been to the stadium a couple of times, but it's kind of, to me, the masters of college football. They're more concerned about their culture and their pageantry and their game than being caught up in the all the things related to the playoffs. So they might host a national championship one day down the line, but I can't see them ever giving up that tradition of New Year's Day. And I don't know that in the in the sport that's just about obliterated all tradition that we need to lose the Rose Bowl at being on New Year's Day.
Was the last time they hosted a national championship was 2013?
I think that's
FSU
right, and that was
Auburn?
the old double hosting because they would play the Rose Bowl game,
Right.
and then some weeks later, or a few days later, they would play the national championship game. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, and it's a if you've been out there, it was built to watch a football game. These stadiums today are built, they've got a game, but they've also got all these other entertainment.
Ask FSU about that.
Yeah. I mean, you're there to watch the game. You're going to get to your seat and you're going to stay right there. But still, one of the most iconic venues. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It really is. So, that's very telling. What do you think about the home sites there? I mean, you like the being home and home game first round? Yeah,
I mean, first round. Yeah, I mean they've earned. I mean, you actually get to be one of the 12. And you're higher ranked, then absolutely, I like that.
Yeah, that Notre Dame game against Indiana, under the lights in South Bend. Ohio State hosting Tennessee. I mean, and then Penn State hosted all bitterly cold, ball games too. The weather was kind of rough there for December.
And I don't see Notre Dame in that 12 either.
No Notre Dame in that 12. That's exactly right. So, well, we are bumping up against the last break for the day here at ESPN 104.3 Coach James Hale Show. People getting active, getting out and about here these warmer spring days, and many of you in our area into biking. Go see Steve at Steve's Bike Shop, Panama City, bikes, e-bikes. If you need your bike repaired, they will help you have the best biking experience possible, have the top brands in the industry, can handle all your maintenance needs as well, serving Panama City, Bay County, and the Florida Panhandle since 1979. Steve's Bike Shop. And then many out doing lawn care and lawnscaping and getting everything in good order for your yard. And you need Turf Pro Pest Control. So give them a call. They will help you get rid of those pesky critters that keep your grass from looking great and make your lawn the best in your neighborhood. We'll be right back for our last segment of the day. Give us a call, 850-215-6290. Coach James Hale Show, Jeremy Pridge and Tommy St. Amant. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Oklahoma City, they're a cute story. They're no longer a cute story. They're a real story. And I think sometimes we get caught up and you go, oh, that team out there in Oklahoma City, oh, look at them. How many wins do they have? They went 68-14. The Thunder, no longer a cute story. They're a problem. It's just different basketball.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Thursday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 79 and a wind 8 to 12 miles per hour. A mixture of slight fog and some clouds tonight, a calm wind, and a temperature of 67. About the same tomorrow, around 80, with a mixture of slight fog and some sun. Slightly foggy in the morning, followed by mostly sunshine Saturday and hot around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Are you having the holiday horrors trying to figure out the perfect gift for everyone on your list? It's terrifying. But guess what? I have the perfect gift you can give to everyone. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. That's right. They're the perfect gift for a mother, for a father, grandma, grandpa, for the kids, for a friend, for a coworker, for everybody. Because with Skechers slip-ins, they'll never have to touch their shoes again. Just step into them and they're on. With no bending down, no retying the laces, and you are good to go. Find Skechers slip-ins for the holidays at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
Lots of force on this one. Hello, Chop House. A two-run homer.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
last segment here at the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida. I've been here with Tommy St. Amant this morning. Coach Hale is off with Elvis, and they have left the building.
I can't believe that James Hale has not called in his show.
His show.
He hadn't called in yet.
That's right.
I bet he's not even listening.
Probably not even listening.
I bet he's eating pancakes right now.
And all this breaking news from Tennessee, and it came from Mike.
And there he is.
And he's up there, well, we talked a little bit about the draft, this past spring, Tommy, as Carl Fountain, my associate minister, would say, I took a little mission trip up to Wisconsin, and that's because Alabama was playing at Wisconsin there, and carried my daughter Addison, and we had a great time. But we did go to Camp Randall for the game on Saturday, but we got the benefit of going on Sunday to Lambeau to watch Green Bay play. And I had never been to Lambeau Field, had never been to Green Bay, had never been to Wisconsin. I mean, if you've got limited time for vacation, Wisconsin's not the first place to pop up. But I will tell you, you and Louise would love a trip to Door County and to the peninsula there. I mean,
we've talked about that. I've had friends that's been there, and that's the only part we've not been, right through there.
Sisters Bay there with overlooking the lake, and it's really one of the only places where the sun sets over the water in Wisconsin. Was gorgeous. So
Louise lived in Chicago for about a year when she was working for the airlines.
And
I went up there. I've been up there before, but not into that part there. I would like to do that.
Well, I've been to a few professional games, and the difference. And I love the pageantry of college football. I love seeing the tailgating experiences, whether it's at Doak Campbell or Ben Hill Griffin. Jordan Hare, I like the experience. And Alabama's got a series of these non-conference games that get us into places we wouldn't normally go, like Wisconsin last year. We've got Florida State this year. We've got Virginia Tech, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and they'll make return trips to Tuscaloosa. I've been to plenty of games in Tuscaloosa. I enjoy that immensely, but I really am excited about getting the chance to go see these other places that you watch on television all the time, and actually see what a game day looks like there. But the comparison of the NFL, the games I've been to in NFL venues are more municipal. They're more kind of, but Green Bay is an exception to that. When we went to Lambeau that day, and you had Titletown, and you've got this 100-yard field out there with families, it really had the feel much more of a college experience than anything I've ever seen in the NFL.
You see cheeseheads?
There were cheeseheads everywhere. And the NFL draft is going to be happening right there at Lambeau Field and Titletown, and starts with Free Fan Fest noon today. Friday, and then Saturday they're going to be hosting the Draft City Music Fest, the Field Fest at City Stadium. They've got an NFL draft experience with free interactive festival, a theater, the Touchdown downtown. But this is going to be an event. Now, Green Bay is kind of the anomaly for the professional league here, NFL league, and ESPN is reporting that the NFL draft could have a $100 million economic impact for the state of Wisconsin. And could be the largest per capita economic impact event since the NFL took the event on the road a decade ago.
Wow.
So you don't think there's big money around the spectacle of the NFL draft that we've been mentioning here. And here's what's crazy. According to the 2020 census, Green Bay's population, 107,000 people. So as you shared, can we offer an invitation to the NFL to come to Panama City for the draft? But you'll have all the star-studded talent. A typical game day attracts 80,000 fans to Lambeau. This is expected to draw 3 times more than that over the next several days.
Wow.
So it's going to be hopping, and it's first class. I mean, really, I could not say enough positive about our trip to Wisconsin. I think it was George Bernard Shaw that said, Alabama and Wisconsin were a common people separated by a common language.
Very true.
It's pretty well put. They just want to hear a Southern drawl. It's, they have the Midwestern lacking accent there. But you were talking about the coaches that have sent players on to the draft, and pretty interesting when you consider what coaches have sent more players to the NFL. So tell us a little bit about that.
This is an article I saw with the most draft picks by coaches in NFL history. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 11 coaches going down to 113 draft picks. But number one was one that I really forgot about. And you probably, some of y'all might know this, but the coach with the most draft picks in NFL, the number one is Joe Paterno. He had 251 draft picks.
Linebacker you.
Yep.
And makes sense when you think about it.
I know.
I got the opportunity to go in 2010. Alabama played a home and home with Penn State. And it was actually Paterno's last year, just before the scandal broke. But we had a history with Penn State during the 80s. We had a 10-year, almost unheard of. You never hear of this again. 10-year home and home.
Wow.
Off of those 2 Sugar Bowls that they had played there with Bryan and Paterno. And so 5 in Happy Valley and 5 in Tuscaloosa or Birmingham. And then that series went dormant. But they picked it up in 10 and 11 and or 9 and 10, and Penn State came down to Tuscaloosa, and then Alabama made the return trip. And Paterno had said, we were treated so well in Tuscaloosa, but just welcome the Alabama fans coming up. It's a buddy of mine. We went up there again. Could not have been more gracious, hospitable. They just welcomed us into their tailgates. They were, feeding us, and it was more like a family reunion.
Wow.
Alabama won the game, but Paterno was not well that day, but he coached from the booth and stayed up there. And then just a few weeks later, all of that with Sandusky blew up, and it created that kind of pall that's been cast over his tenure there. But you can tell that they're in State College, a very proud program.
Right. I mean, a lot of these coaches, you know of them anyway if you kept up with football at all. Number 2 was Coach Bowden from FSU. He had 184 kids that was drafted. And number 3 is Coach Saban at Alabama, 173. And the next was Tom Osborne, Nebraska, 168. And then you get down to Hayes. Oh, that's Ohio State, right?
Ohio State, Woody Hayes.
164. And Coach Bryant from Alabama, 130. Holtz, 129. Schembecker, 127. Mac Brown, 119. Johnny Majors, 113. And John McKay, 113. That was the, it went down a little bit further, but that's as far as I stopped after that. But very interesting that these are names we all recognize in college football. Everybody knows these names.
Well, and to kind of bring it full circle here, we opened the show with Bobby Hughes.
Yeah.
And, those guys that coach these guys who went on the NFL, they don't ever get to those guys unless there's a lot of Bobby Hugheses out there along the way that spend a lot of time whose names will never end up on a list. But we got great coaches in this area who spend countless hours, often thankless hours, criticized, galore around the decisions they make. But what they are doing is they're shaping the lives of young men and women, just like you have done in this area. And, for that, you kind of see the fruit of that labor. They didn't finish them off. They had many people developing them along the way. And that's just kind of the finished product there. But it's still a remarkable list. And you see the impact that those legends, and they are all legendary, they have had. We are nearing the end of our time with you this morning. We thank you for joining us here on the ESPN 104.3 Coach James Hale Show. We do want to wish good luck to our Mosley Dolphins today as they play at 3 o'clock over in Lake City in the best-of-3 series. You hope to get the victory and bring it back home and play on Saturday here in the area. And good luck to the Bozeman Bucks, who are trying to win the rubber match in their game against Jacksonville Bulls. But we'll be back with you tomorrow, and thank you for joining us. We are out. ESPN 104.3 Coach James Hale Show. Y'all have a great day.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
The other thing that makes you wonder about the Lakers are a bad road team. They were sub 500 on the road, and they just lost home court advantage. Minnesota, like those Ravens, they can win on the road. I'm not worried about the Lakers, but J.J. Redick, welcome to playoff basketball.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest.